Call it the healthcare halt. Whitecastle says growth is at a standstill because of the president's healthcare law, and is warning that if the law moves forward, the popular burger chain will be forced to cut hours way back for its new hires. Jamie Richardson is a vice president at Whitecastle. Jamie, I want you to give me some numbers. How many people are you going to cut back? How many hours are going to work? And how much money are you going to save if you do this? Go.
Well, Stuart, Whitecastle, we're the taste America craves, so we don't have any royal christenings planned for our castles, but if you want to come by and meet some of our incredible team members, we'd love to have you come along. But that's why we're fighting and sharing our real concerns. We're so thankful the implementation has been delayed. It's like being tied to the train tracks and knowing the train's coming in 3 minutes, finding out we now have 9 minutes. Let's use common sense solution to change things in the law that need to be fixed, like this work week definition of 30 hours per week. We all use 40 hours or 35 hours. That's a real cost for Whitecastle. That will increase our health care costs by 35%. And we can't allow ourselves to not speak up for our people in a situation where they're being threatened.
But if you're going to cut back new hires way back down there, I think it's to 25 hours a week, if you're going to do that, you're not going to be popular with your employees because they want hours. So this, I would suggest to you, Jamie, this is not going to be popular with your employees. And other chains which have done something similar, it's bad PR and they've got some hostility from it. Would you address both those concerns, the employees and the bad PR?
We have the best people in the world, and we believe transparency equals trust. So if you're full-time at Whitecastle today and you have insurance, you're going to keep your insurance. When we look to the future, if the law is implemented as it currently stands, when we hire somebody new, we'll let that person know they're part-time and they won't be eligible for the health insurance benefit. We have no choice because there's no way we can take a 35% increase in our health care costs and continue to keep our restaurants open. So we're looking at the long perspective and doing what's right for our customers, our neighborhoods, our families that are depending on us. So we're not pulling the rug out from anybody, but we are going to be forced to change our hiring practices to be able to comply with the law.
Valerie Jarrett, very close to the president, very senior advisor. She says that the healthcare law is not creating part-time work. What's your response to her statement?
A lot of times things look good in Washington, D.C. on the chalkboard. In the real world, we're faced with difficult choices. We want to serve our neighborhoods and communities. We want to offer a path to prosperity for more people. If our costs and our biggest investment, people and food, are impacted by bad laws, we have no choice but to try to work within the law to find ways to keep our doors open, to be able to expand and grow and have more impact in more neighborhoods. So I would disagree.
Do you think that this healthcare law, as it's begun to be implemented, looks like chaos is coming? Do you think it will be fully implemented, or do you think it's just going to be pushed back and just end before it's fully implemented? How do you think it's going to go?
We're hopeful that common sense will prevail. More people from both sides of the aisle have talked about the definition of full-time needing to be what it has been, 40 hours. This 30-hour mandate is difficult for employers everywhere, and when people talk about bifurcation of income, we're going to have bifurcation of scheduling, and that's not good for anybody. So we're hopeful common sense will prevail, both sides can come together and do what we do in business. If we have a hot, tasty new sandwich and it's not ready to roll out into our restaurants, we don't roll it out. We fix what's wrong and we get it right. We hope government can do the same.
Look, Jamie, you're right in the middle of the fast food, the chain business, the restaurant business. Have you heard from your competitors, other people in the same field? Are they going to do exactly the same thing that you're planning?
I think everyone's going to do what's best for them, but everyone's facing the same pressures. The restaurant industry employs, over 13 million people. It's one of the biggest employers in the whole country. And so all of us are struggling and scrambling with our unique business models to find out what fits for us. But this law has a disproportional negative impact on restaurants and retail. And we're just hopeful for some relief that this common sense time that we've been allowed is used for good to allow us to have more impact and create more jobs.
All right, we hear you. Jamie Richardson with Whitecastle, cutting back new hires to part-time work, 25 hours a week. We hear you, Jamie, and thanks very much for joining us today.